What's up guys, Doomsday here. Today we're back again, and in this video we're going to be playing some Evelyn in the jungle. So even though the new control wards were added to Wild Rift, in my opinion Evelyn is still one of the most broken junglers. The control wards definitely do hurt Evelyn a little bit, but overall I'd say Evelyn is just still super strong right now. Plus Evelyn is just a really fun jungler to play, and a lot of people don't realize that until they start to play a bit of Evelyn, but Evelyn is so much fun to play. And especially with the one burst potential that you still have, something nice about Evelyn is that she actually scales really nice with items. So I wouldn't say it's anything like Lee Sin where like your early game is super broken and then you fall off pretty hard in the late game. If anything, I'd actually say it's the exact opposite, to where like your early game is pretty weak, but then you scale up really nicely. But the weakest part about Evelyn, as I was just saying, is actually the early game. The early game is the weakest part pre-level 5 on Evelyn when you don't have your invisibility up. So that's actually why I'm doing the clear that I'm doing. So as you'll see in this clear, I'm actually going to clear every single one of my camps. So for this first rotation, I'm not going to even be looking for any scuttles or anything. My main goal is to get level 5. And a big part about not needing the scuttles is actually because, one, the scuttles give less experience with the new updates, so they don't help you get to level 5 as quickly. And also, going up against scuttles, once you get level 5 with Evelyn, scuttles are useless against you just because you're invis when you're walking through the river area anyways. So it literally does nothing to go up against the scuttle as an Evelyn, because the scuttle's not going to even spot you out. If anything's going to spot you out, it's the control words now. So that is something that you should check if you are playing Evelyn in the jungle now, is which of the laners have the control words and which ones don't. Because that could give you a pretty good idea of which lanes will be harder to gank than others. Because for instance, if the solo lane is running a good control ward, there's a good chance that it's placed somewhere and that it'll probably spot you out. But now I'm keeping an eye out on the map over here. As you can see, I'm just clearing all my camps right now, waiting to get level 5. Unfortunately, our team went down twice in the early game, which is a bit unfortunate. But now with the scuttle spawning, I'm trying to see where the enemy Olaf is, what their rotation is. And just by that scouting thing over here, I actually see that Olaf only cleared the red side jungle, and now they're looking for the scuttle on the bottom side. So actually, I'm level 5 already, and that's pretty huge. So now I'm keeping an eye out. I see this Olaf over here, and I'm pinging him out, and I can look for a good counter gank here because I know that Olaf is looking for this. I get a good charm. I actually see that Olaf isn't level 5 yet, so I know this is a huge thing to abuse. And you can actually see the problem with going scuttle is you just don't get your level 5 as quickly. And I'm able to pick up a good kill and force the Olaf off. So that's really good there. And it's really key that Olaf didn't get level 5, because if Olaf had level 5, he wouldn't have had to been scared of my charm, because he could have just ulted out of my charm, and because he can't be affected by crowd control. So now I'm getting a reset, and another big thing about that full clear is once you get your full clear, if you just recall right after that without a scuttle, without a gank, you still get 2 tier 2 items. So that's pretty good for your next gank. So over there, actually, I see the Olaf use his ult. He's able to pick up a kill, but now I know exactly what the Olaf's rotation is. Olaf cleared only his right side jungle, and then he looked for that scuttle over there and a gank on that top side. So now when he recalls over here, the only part of the map that's really still open is his blue side jungle, because top side's resetting. His red side jungle is down because he cleared it. So I know he's going to be clearing that blue side jungle. And I decided not to go for this gank over here because I know that Zed will just throw out his shadow and teleport to wherever he throws out his shadow, and I won't be able to get a good gank at all. So that's why I decided not to go for that. Although I can get some damage, I'm just going to take damage, like unnecessary damage. So now I see him rotating down. I'm just playing it a bit slow. I know my teammates underneath turret, plus it's an Ezreal, so it's pretty hard to gank an Ezreal, but now I'm keeping an eye out to see if anybody's in this area over here. Seeing if I can catch anything. And now, looking for a gank onto the solo lane over here. Looking to see if maybe I can get a good lane gank angle. I'm avoiding any control words if there are any control words. So this is a pretty good angle. As you can see, the Blitzcrank had pretty much no idea I was in there, and he walked into there. But now that we got a kill, I know we have full priority on this side over here, and I see this Olaf over here, and I really, really want to play aggro into his jungle, because I know he's probably just going to be farming up his jungle, and I know that my laners have the priority. So I know my dual lane can rotate. We just took down their Blitzcrank, and now able to get onto this Olaf over here. He tries to ult, but there is nothing he could do, and you can see that Blitzcrank trying to make it back to the lane. The mid lane's just dueling it out over here, and I'm going to see if maybe I can go and clean this up over here. I see that Zed used everything over there, so trying to get the engage in. I used my charm to slow him down, and I definitely did not need to ult that, but I think I got really paranoid that Zed would like get their shadow back up, and then they would just teleport out and I wouldn't be able to get that kill. Because I really wanted that kill, since that Zed had a pretty decent amount of gold bounty on him. I think he had a small bounty just because he'd killed the Diana twice. So that's a good pickup for me, and that got me a lot of gold. As you can see, now I got my Lich Bane's first item. So for the runes that I'm running Electrocute. It's really strong on Evelyn, of course. It synergizes really well with your kit just because you have such large initial burst on Evelyn that Electrocute's, in my opinion, like a really good item. You can go Conqueror if you want, but I personally prefer Electrocute in most scenarios. The case where I'd go Conqueror is if you're up against a lot of tanks and you think there's just going to be extended team fights and you're going to be fighting team fights for a while. But then I go Gathering Storm. It scales really well into the late game. And then for my last runes, I either go Conditioning or Hunter Titan, depending on if they have a lot of crowd control. And then Pathfinder for the last rune. So now I'm trying to get an engage onto this Kai'Sa over here. You can see I get a charm onto him. Able to get an engage, but I don't have my ult, so I'm not able to finish anything off. And you can actually see, running into the lane, I was pinging that my ult was on cooldown, so I was a bit more careful taking this fight, but the reason why I took this fight is actually because Diana has ult. So now I see Jace rotating through the mid lane, so I want to be a bit careful over here because this can be a 4v5 over here, and that can go really badly. But we're keep on gonna get the Sona heals, and we're regenerating back to full health. And I know I can secure this dragon. I have a pretty good secure as Evelyn. So I'm able to pick that up, and we're just able to poke him down slowly by slowly. We play around our Sona really well, so the Sona can keep on healing us up. And sadly, the Kai'Sa flashes away, but definitely got to dip out over here. That's positioning a bit too aggro, especially against an Olaf. You do have to respect the fact that Olaf can negate any crowd control, so Diana ult, Sona ult, all of that's kind of useless. So now I'm able to force out the Olaf ult there with the charm, and that's really huge because now he won't have that up for a bit. Unfortunately, there's a control ward here, so I do get spotted out. And as you can see, that's kind of the downside to playing Evelyn this patch is there are control wards, and I'm able to pick up this Zed over here, trying to see if I can get a good escape, but unfortunately the Blitz hook gets me, and I do go down. So now, just going to be farming back up. And then for the build, I'm going to be going Lich Bane's, Rabadon's, Death Cap, and then Infinity Orb. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk right now. Infinity Orb. Those are really good 3 core items that I'd say are pretty necessary on Evelyn. And once you get your Infinity Orb's 3rd item, like, your burst damage is literally insane. Like, you can one-shot almost any single squishy. But the only thing that you have to watch out for is stasis in the late game. So now I'm playing it a bit slow, seeing if maybe I can land a good charm onto somebody. And I'll put the charm onto Blitzcrank. I just use that for the slow. So sometimes I know the main part of your charm is, of course, to get the charm if you can land it. But something that to really keep in mind is even if you don't get the full-on charm, even if you proc it early, you still get like a 60% slow or something insane like that. So if you want to look to just chase somebody down, just using the charm and not even getting the charm off can be completely huge in helping your team chase him down. So as you can see, I just used my charm pretty early there. I try and slow the Zed down to try and mess up his engage, and we're able to force him out and pick up a kill, and now they're super low. So I'm seeing if maybe I can herald down this mid lane over here, but there happens to be 3 of them in this lane over here, so can't do too much. We do get 2 plates off of it, and Fiora is just pushing the top side, so it's not completely useless, but now I'm trying to catch out this Blitzcrank. It looks like he's about to rotate to the bot side, so that's where I try and catch him out. I get the good burst off with the charm, and I see him going for the fruit truck, so I try and steal as much as I can. I don't think I do it successfully, but able to force out a flash, so that's of course always good. This viewer is on the run. I'm going to see if maybe I could save him. Sometimes just using your charm on an enemy will scare him off, even if you're pretty far in the distance and you really don't want to fight. But now we're able to pick up that mid turret over here and warding up his jungle. So holding my charm to see if I can get a good angle on anything, but maybe I could get this chase, but he is literally one like tile away from getting the charmed over there, and we decide to just back up over there. But really big considerations in this match for us are probably my ultimate and Diana ultimate. Those are 2 of the biggest considerations that you have to look at when going for dragon fights or scuttle fights early on. And if you don't have those ultimates off cooldown, you just have to play really cautious. I'm not saying that you can't really take the fight, but you just have to be aware of it. And literally just being aware of it, then you can respect like the enemy kind of. Like you won't go for any crazy big fights and you'll back off like if you know that you don't have your ultimate. Like you like consciously are thinking about it. But if you see a good angle, you could of course still always go in. But something that I really, really want to talk about is Evelyn's charm. And the thing about Evelyn's charm is, in my opinion, it's such a good ability because it can be used in two major ways. So it can be used as an anti-engage and it can be used as a dive tool. So first of all, let's see if I can get a good engage over here. I'm able to pick up the Blitzcrank. We're able to get a good Diana ult, and you can see the power of these two ultimates together. And especially because Diana ult kind of groups them together. So if you combo them like in the right way, you can land so much burst damage with your ultimate. But as I was saying, the Evelyn charm, and I think we're going to see this later on in this match, or we've definitely seen it already, but I just haven't had the chance to talk about it, is how to use the charm. So the way that most people use it is as an engage tool. So they, of course, look to get the charm off, engage onto a backline or something like that. But another way that you could use it, actually, is as an like disengage tool, as like hiding tool. So when you throw out your charm onto somebody, such as Zed or a Jace, what it's going to do is it's going to scare them, of course, because you have a charm on you, and they're going to be much more cautious when engaging. So they're likely not going to hard engage, because, for instance, just imagine if you charm a Zed, and you're playing, like, let's just imagine you're Zed, and you get charmed, you're going to wait for that charm to run out before you engage. Like, you're not going to ult on in or look for an engage when you're charmed, because you're just going to get charmed just like that, and you're going to get crowd controlled and bursted down. So that's just something to really keep in mind. So for instance, if Olaf has no ult or something, you could throw out your charm onto him, and then that's going to pretty much make him stop chasing. So you can see that's kind of what I'm looking for over here, is if he keeps on chasing, then I could use that charm essentially as a disengage tool and as a hiding tool. And that's just something to recognize. And a good example of that is actually against Wukong. If you haven't seen my other Evelyn videos, I've actually done a pretty good job of demonstrating this, and there's one match specifically against a Wukong where I think I displayed it really well. But over here now, I'm just looking to secure this dragon over here. Trying to see if I can pick it up. Evelyn has really good secure, so able to smite it down. And now looking to get my passive health regen and rejoin this fight over here. I still have flash. I'm looking for this Kaisa over here. I see them and Jace are both super low, so I'll wait a second for their reset, and I kind of just delete them. And now I'm just farming up this wave over here, getting myself a good amount of gold, and now I have my Infinity Orb, and this is where the big power spike happens. With Gathering Storm, that helps you scale into the late game, plus this Infinity Orb pick up, like, now is when you're strongest, in my opinion. This stage of the game, when you have 3 items, you're falling a bit ahead, and even building into the 4th item is really, really good. You can pretty much one burst any carry, and we're going to see that in this match especially. Literally anybody in this match will get bursted down by me now. You can see I take camps super fast, so that's actually something to keep in mind with Evelyn, is Evelyn has one of the fastest jungle clears. After like the first initial clear, Evelyn's jungle clear is insanely fast, so you can consistently farm up and make sure you keep up your farm. Like, that's one of my biggest tips on Evelyn, is make sure to keep on clearing out your camps, because it literally takes 2 seconds to clear out your camps on the way out. So now I see this Olaf here. I throw out the charm. He's probably going to ult out. You can see him just ulting out, and now I'm trying to run him down. I'm trying to get a 3rd ability onto him, but I can't get a 3rd ability, but it doesn't matter because my 1st ability is more than enough to burst him down. So we still have all our ultimates, so I'm thinking maybe if we want to force a fight at the Baron, we can, but you see over there, I just used my charm for the slow over there, and now I back towards my team. And a really good way to counter out Zed, actually, is standing next to other teammates that can crowd control him. So, for instance, like next to a Sona, if you kite back to a Sona against a Zed, if a Zed ults you when you're near a Sona, that Sona should just instantly ult back, and then that Zed's engage is going to get all messed up. So that's just something really crucial to keep in mind. But again, I highly recommend checking out my other Eve gameplays. Eve has been a super good champ for me. Like, I picked up Eve last season. It's my first season actually playing a lot of Eve, and I just find Eve to be so much fun and so broken, even with the new control words. Like, and I think, like, Eve is, like, probably my highest win rate champ this season. I think my Eve win rate is close to, like, that's, like, 65 to 70%, and, like, the Master, Grandmaster, Elo, around that range. So, they're just super strong right now, Eve players. especially if you know how to play Eve right, because there are some matchups that can be really hard. So for instance, Jin Zhao is really good into Eve. What other champs? Riven's pretty decent into Eve. But now we're looking to start up this Baron over here. Seeing how fast we can take this. Eve has also a pretty good objective take too, so that's the added bonus onto Eve. But you can see we're bursting this down pretty fast. We should be able to secure it, and now I just smite it down, and I could definitely look to reset over here, but instead I am more so concerned with going for a fight. I probably should have just reset and get another item, but I kind of just want to fight somebody. So that's another control ward. They spotted me there, but this definitely isn't the best move, but I think I was just looking for something fancy over here. I see this Olaf, and I actually wonder if I could burst down this Olaf over here. So unfortunately, they flash out, and we're not able to get any follow-up there, but we were able to chunk them both down to half health and force out flashes, so that's overall pretty good. And now we're running down this Kais over here. Dude, but I'm telling y'all, I can get y'all so much Eve gameplay. Like, if you enjoy Eve gameplay, make sure to comment down below, because I really don't know what kind of gameplay people like, because some people like certain champs more than others. But if you do enjoy Eve gameplay and you do want more of it, make sure to like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments down below for sure. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all in the next video.